I should have known better than to touch anyone in this city, but desperation makes you reckless, and I'd been both for 3 years running. The coffee shop smelled like burnt espresso and broken dreams, which honestly felt appropriate for a Tuesday in Newark. I kept my hands shoved deep in my jacket pockets, fingers curled into fists so tight my knuckles ached. Don't touch. Don't look. Don't let anyone get close enough to notice. That had been my mantra since I turned 18, and discovered that brushing against someone's skin meant drowning in their memories like they were my own. Psychometry, the fancy term for it. I called it a curse wrapped in a migraine. "Caleb, table 6 needs a refill!" Marcus, my manager, not the scary kind, shouted from behind the counter. I grabbed the coffee pot with a dish towel barrier between my palm and the handle. Couldn't risk touching something and getting slammed with the emotional baggage of every person who'd held it before me. Last week I'd touched a doorknob and spent 20 minutes reliving some stranger's messy breakup. Hard pass on a repeat performance. "You good?" Marcus asked, eyeing my towel-wrapped grip. "Germaphobe," I lied smoothly, flashing him my best don't-ask-questions smile. "You know me," he snorted. "You're weird, Rivera. And you're observant. We all have our talents." I weaved through the cramped cafe, refilling cups without making eye contact. That was the trick. Be forgettable. Blend in. Don't let anyone wonder why the scrawny Omega barista wore gloves in July, or flinched when people got too close. The bell above the door chimed. I didn't look up. Didn't need to. The shift in air pressure told me someone important had just walked in, someone who made the whole room hold its breath. Alpha. My hindbrain whispered it before my nose caught the scent. Leather, gunpowder, and something dark that tasted like expensive whiskey and bad decisions. "We're at capacity," Marcus said, voice tight. "Maybe try." "I don't wait." The voice cut through the ambient noise like a blade through silk. Low, controlled, and laced with the kind of authority that didn't ask. It commanded. I risked a glance. Mistake number 1. He stood in the doorway like he owned it, which, knowing Newark's power structure, he probably did. Tall, sharp-jawed, with dark hair pushed back from a face that could have been carved from marble if marble could look that pissed off. His suit probably cost more than my rent. His eyes, cold, pale gray, swept the room with the detached interest of a predator deciding which prey looked tastiest. Dominic Cross. Even I'd heard the rumors. Enigma. The rarest, most dangerous designation. Mafia boss. Untouchable in every sense of the word. The kind of alpha who made other alphas submit with a look. Look away, Caleb. Look away and live. I turned back to table 6, hands trembling as I poured coffee. "Mr. Cross," Marcus stammered. "Of course, I'll—" "The corner booth. Black coffee. Now!" I heard Marcus scramble. Heard chairs scraping as people suddenly remembered they had somewhere else to be. The cafe emptied like someone had pulled a fire alarm. Not my problem. Serves the coffee. Get the tip. Go home. I focused on my task, on keeping my breathing even, on... You. My spine locked. That voice, closer now, sharp enough to draw blood, was definitely talking to me. I turned slowly. Dominic Cross stood 3 feet away, those winter storm eyes fixed on me with an intensity that made my pulse spike. Up close he was worse. Devastatingly handsome in the way a loaded gun was beautiful. Dangerous. Final. "Sir?" My voice came out steadier than I felt. Points for me. "Coffee, corner booth." His gaze dragged over me, clinical, dismissive. "And wiped down the table. It's filthy." Oh, he did not just... "Right away, sir," I said, voice dripping with enough false sweetness to cause cavities. "Anything else? Foot massage? Throne? To sit on?" His eyes narrowed. "Excuse me?" I said, Of course, sir. Right away." I smiled blandly. My mistake. For a second, just a heartbeat, something flickered in those cold eyes. Surprise, maybe. Or annoyance. Hard to tell with a face that gave away nothing. He walked to the corner booth without another word. I exhaled hard. Idiot. Don't antagonize the man who probably has people disappeared for less. But God, it felt good. I grabbed a rag and the coffee pot, mentally preparing myself for round 2. Marcus shot me a look that screamed, "Please don't get us killed," which I ignored in favor of channeling every ounce of confidence I didn't actually possess. The corner booth was shadowed, private, exactly the kind of spot someone like Dominic Cross would choose. He sat with his back to the wall, fingers drumming against the table in a rhythm that felt almost impatient. I approached cautiously, setting the cup down without getting too close. Coffee, black, as ordered. The table? Right. The imaginary filth. I bit back a sigh and leaned forward, wiping down the already clean surface with aggressive efficiency. Anything else, Your Majesty, or... His hand moved. I shifted at the same time. And then... contact. His fingers brushed mine, skin to skin. The world exploded. My pulse stuttered. The heat of his skin seared into mine. Then the memories hit. A boardroom drenched in blood. Gunshots echoing. A younger Dominic standing over a body, face blank, hands steady. You should have paid on time. A hospital room, beeping machines. A woman's hand going limp in his. I'm sorry, Dom. I'm so sorry. His voice cracking. Don't leave me, please. A basement, chains, screaming. His knuckles split open as he drove his fist into someone's face again and again and again. Where is she? I gasped, yanking my hand back like I'd been burned. The coffee pot slipped from my grip. Ceramic shattered against tile. Dark liquid spread across the floor, like spilled ink. My knees buckled. Too much, too fast, too raw. What? Dominic's voice sounded strange, rough, strained. I forced my eyes open, vision swimming. He was staring at his hand like it had betrayed him. Then his gaze snapped to me, and something in those gray eyes had changed. They weren't cold anymore, they were burning. You! His pupils dilated. What did you... His scent hit me then. That whiskey and gunpowder smell intensified, deepened, twisted into something primal that made every instinct in my body scream contradictory commands. Run, stay, submit, fight. I didn't do anything, I managed, voice shakier than I wanted. My hands were trembling. The memories still clung to my mind like oil. I need to... I tried to step back. My shoe hit the spilled coffee. I slipped. Dominic moved. 1 second he was seated. The next his hand was around my wrist, steadying me. And oh God, that was worse because now I was getting more. A penthouse view. City. Lights below. Him alone at a window. Glass of whiskey untouched. 28 years and I've never... A pause. What's wrong with me? A meeting. Other alphas around a table. An Enigma going into RUT is dangerous, Cross. You need to consider taking a mate before it happens naturally. His jaw tightening. I don't need anyone. A photograph. A blonde woman with kind eyes. His thumb tracing her face. I miss you, Mom. Every day. Let go, I gasped. He did. Immediately. Like I'd electrocuted him. We stood there both breathing too hard, the shattered coffee cup between us like a casualty of a war. What are you? His voice had dropped an octave. His hands were clenched at his sides. Clumsy! I shot back, because sarcasm was basically my defense mechanism at this point. Also probably fired, thanks for that. His nostrils flared. He took a step closer. I took a step back. You're sent. He said it like an accusation, like I'd personally offended him by existing. It's generic Omega, I supplied. Unremarkable? Easily ignored? Addictive. The word landed between us like a grenade. My heart did something complicated in my chest. What? I can smell you. His voice had gone rough, dangerous. Under the coffee, under the fear, something sweet, warm, like... He stopped, jaw working like he was physically fighting the words. Cinnamon and rain. Oh no. Oh no, no, no. I knew what this was. Had heard about it in hushed whispers and cautionary tales Omegas told each other. True mates. Scent bonding. The kind of biological lock and key that turned rational people into instinct-driven disasters. And Dominic Cross, Enigma Mafia boss with anger issues and a body count, was looking at me like I was the answer to a question and he'd been too afraid to ask. Listen, I said slowly, hands up like I was calming a wild animal. I think there's been a mistake. Some wires got crossed. Maybe you're coming down with something. The flu, rabies, sudden onset, insanity. You touched me. Barely. That was an accident. You pulled back like I'd burned you. You have weirdly hot hands. It's a medical concern. His eyes narrowed. You're lying. I'm literally always lying. It's part of my charm. He moved closer. I moved back. We did this awkward dance until my spine hit the wall and I realized I'd been strategically cornered by someone who probably did this for a living. Fantastic. Great survival instincts, Caleb. Dominic braced one hand against the wall beside my head, not touching me, not trapping me, but definitely making it clear that leaving wasn't currently an option. Up close I could see the details I'd missed before, the faint scar along his jaw, the exhaustion bruised under his eyes, the way his breathing had gone uneven like he was fighting something internal and losing. I don't know what you did, he said quietly, dangerously, but something changed when you touched me. Yeah, I read your tragic backstory and apparently activated your RUT response. You're welcome. Also, I hate my life. Maybe you're just touch-starved, I tried. I hear that's going around. His free hand lifted. Slowly, carefully. His fingers hovered near my face like he was afraid to make contact. If I touch you again, he said, voice dropping to something that felt like gravel and silk, will it happen again? Will what happen again? That feeling. His eyes searched mine. Like I've been asleep for years and just woke up. My breath caught. His memories were still echoing in my skull. Loneliness, grief, violence, control, and underneath it all, a desperate aching need to feel something other than empty. I should have lied. Should have run. Should have done literally anything except tell the truth. Yes, I whispered. His pupils blew wide. Then I'm not letting you go. Excuse me. The words came out sharper than intended, but honestly, audacity deserved a proper response. I ducked under his arm and slipped, sideways, putting 3 feet of space between us. You don't own me just because your biology decided to throw a tantrum. Dominic's hand was still braced against the wall where my head had been. He stared at the empty space like it had personally betrayed him, then slowly turned to face me. My biology, he repeated, voice flat. Yeah, you know, the whole Enigma thing? Rare, powerful, probably comes with an instruction manual you didn't read? I crossed my arms, ignoring how my hands were still shaking. I'm guessing the chapter on don't claim random baristas got skipped. His jaw tightened. You're not random? We literally met 5 minutes ago. 4 minutes, 37 seconds. He said it like he'd been counting, like the exact moment mattered. And you're lying again. I'm actually not. I've been timing since you walked in. It's an anxiety thing. I count stuff when I'm nervous, and you're deeply nerve-wracking as a human being. Something flickered across his face, almost like amusement, but it died fast, replaced by that unsettling intensity that made my stomach flip. You felt it too. He took a step forward. I took a step back. When we touched, I felt you invading my personal space, yeah. Your pupils dilated. Your pulse spiked. Another step. Your scent changed. That's called fear. Super common response to dangerous predators. You're not afraid of me! He was right, which was annoying. I should have been terrified. Should have been running. Instead, I was standing here trading barbs with a man who could probably snap me in half and had definitely killed people. What is wrong with me? Okay, fine. I held up a hand. Let's say, hypothetically, something weird happened. That doesn't give you the right to corner me in my workplace and make declarations like we're in some kind of supernatural romance novel. I don't read. That explains so much about your communication skills. His eyes narrowed. Are you always this difficult? Only when someone tries to claim ownership of me before even asking my name. I tilted my head. Which you didn't, by the way. Rude. He blinked. Once. Slowly. Like his brain was processing a system error. Your name. Yeah. That thing people use to identify each other usually comes before the whole "you're mine" speech. For a second he just stared at me. Then something shifted in his expression. The predatory edge softened. Not much. Just enough to make him look almost human. Dominic? He said quietly. Dominic Cross. I know. Everyone knows. I gestured vaguely. Enigma MAFIA boss. Very scary. Much powerful. Wow. His mouth twitched. It wasn't quite a smile, but it was close enough to count as progress. And you are? Caleb Rivera. Broke college dropout. Part-time barista. Full-time disaster. I shrugged. Not exactly mate material for someone in your tax bracket. I don't care about tax brackets. You should. Mine's depressing. Caleb, he said my name like he was testing it, rolling it around in his mouth. Why did you pull away when we touched? Because I saw your entire tragic backstory in 30 seconds and nearly drowned in your emotional baggage. Static shock, I lied smoothly. I'm very conductive. You're a terrible liar. I'm an excellent liar. You're just annoyingly perceptive. He moved closer. I held my ground this time, mostly because my back was already against the counter and retreat wasn't an option. Something happened, he said. I felt it. You felt it. You felt your rut kicking in. I felt trapped, different things. This isn't a rut. Oh, really? Because the whole predatory stalking, scent obsession, and possessive declaration thing really screams totally normal behavior. I've never had a rut. The words came out quiet, raw, like admitting a weakness. 28 years. Never once. I froze. That's not possible. And yet, his gaze pinned me, until I touched you. Oh God, oh no. This is worse than I thought. Enigmas were rare. Enigmas who'd never experienced RUT were basically medical mysteries, the kind of thing that made researchers excited, and Omega's very, very nervous. Because if I had somehow triggered his first RUT... That's not my fault, I said quickly. I didn't do anything. You touched me. This is on you. I know. Great, so we agree. You'll leave, I'll clean up this mess, and we'll never speak of this again. No. No? I need to understand what you did to me. I didn't do anything. Your scent is in my lungs, Caleb. His voice dropped. In my head. I can't think past it. Because you saw my memories and I saw yours, and now we're cosmically tangled in the worst possible way. That sounds like a you problem, I managed. It's an us problem now. There is no us. There's you, and there's me, and there's about 6 feet of personal space I'd really like to maintain. He smiled. Actually smiled. It was small, dangerous, and did unfair things to his face. You're different. Yeah, I'm an Omega with a smart mouth and no survival instincts. Real unique. No. He leaned in, and I felt his breath against my temple. You looked at me like you knew me, like you'd seen something no one else has. My heart hammered against my ribs because I did. I saw everything. Maybe you have one of those faces, I whispered. Maybe you have one of those gifts. I went still. I don't know what you're talking about. Liar. Caleb! Marcus's voice cut through the tension like a knife. I jerked back, pulse racing. Dominic straightened slowly, that cold mass sliding back into place. Marcus stood in the kitchen doorway, face pale. Mr. Cross, Is everything all right? Fine. Dominic's voice was smooth again, controlled. I'm taking Caleb with me. Like hell you are, I snapped. He looked at me, really looked. And something in his eyes made my breath catch. Please. That single word hung in the air like a confession. Dominic Cross didn't say please. I knew that without knowing him. Could feel it in the shock rippling through Marcus's expression, in the way the temperature in the room seemed to drop and rise simultaneously. Did you just... I trailed off, searching his face for the catch, the angle. Did you actually say please? His jaw tightened. Once. Don't expect it again. Oh, I'm framing this moment, getting it tattooed, maybe putting it on a billboard. Caleb, Marcus said carefully, like he was talking to someone standing on a ledge. Maybe you should... Should what? Go with the scary mafia boss who just admitted he can't stop thinking about me? I laughed, but it came out shaky. Yeah, that sounds super safe and not at all like the beginning of a true crime podcast. Dominic's phone buzzed. He ignored it. It buzzed again, and again. His expression darkened with each vibration. Answer it, I said. Maybe it's someone calling to remind you that kidnapping is illegal. He pulled out his phone, glanced at the screen, and his whole demeanor shifted. The almost human version of him vanished, replaced by something cold and lethal. When? His voice could have cut glass. A pause. All of them? Another pause. Longer. His free hand curled into a fist. I'll be there in 10. He hung up. So, I ventured. Bad news? Raid. Federal. He was already moving toward the door. My shipment is compromised. Sounds like you have bigger problems than your sudden obsession with a random barista. He stopped, turned, looked at me with an intensity that made my knees weak. You're not random, and this isn't over. Pretty sure it is, actually. You leave. I stay. The universe continues existing. It's a great system. The cafe door burst open. 3 men in suits stormed in, and I knew instantly they weren't customers. They had that same predatory energy as Dominic, but sharper, hungrier. Mr. Cross, the one in front, blonde with a scar across his eyebrow, smiled like a shark. Fancy meeting you here. Dominic went very still. Detective Morrison. Just happened to be in the neighborhood. Morrison's gaze slid to me. Making friends? Ordering coffee. Dominic's voice was flat, bored. Is that illegal now? Depends on the company you keep. Morrison stepped closer, deliberately invading space. We have a warrant for your arrest. Racketeering, money laundering, conspiracy to commit murder. Should I keep going? My stomach dropped. Oh God, this is actually happening. You have nothing, Dominic said calmly. We have enough. Morrison gestured to his men. Hands behind your back. I should have stayed quiet. Should have let this play out. Should have remembered that this wasn't my problem. Instead, I heard myself say, he was with me. Everyone turned to stare. I'm sorry, what? Morrison's smile sharpened. All morning. The lie rolled off my tongue easier than it should have. He's been here since we opened. Ask Marcus. Marcus made a small strangled sound. Is that true? Morrison asked him. Marcus looked between Dominic, me, and the federal agents. His face had gone pale. I'd have to check the... He was here, I interrupted, sitting in that corner booth and drinking terrible coffee and judging my customer service skills. I crossed my arms. Whatever you think he did, he couldn't have done it. Not unless he can teleport. Morrison studied me like I was a bug under a microscope. And you are. Caleb Rivera. Employee of the Month. 3 months running. We've never had an Employee of the Month, Marcus whispered. Well, I'm starting the tradition. Dominic was watching me with an expression I couldn't read, something between shock and something dangerously close to satisfaction. Cute, Morrison said. But lying to a federal agent is a crime. Good thing I'm not lying. You willing to testify to that? The weight of what I'd just done crashed over me. Testify, as in court, as in legal trouble, as in my entire life becoming exponentially more complicated. What am I doing? Why am I doing this? But I'd seen his memories, knew the grief buried under all that control, and maybe I was an idiot, but something in me couldn't let him be dragged away for something I somehow knew he didn't do. Not this time. Yes, I said, I'll testify. Morrison's expression hardened. We'll be in touch. He looked at Dominic. You got lucky today, Cross. Enjoy it while it lasts. They left, the doors slamming shut behind them with enough force to rattle the windows. Silence. Marcus broke first. Caleb, what the hell did you just do? Saved his ungrateful ass, apparently. I turned to Dominic. You're welcome, by the way. He was still staring at me. Why? Why what? Why would you lie for me? He stepped closer, and there was something raw in his voice now, vulnerable. You don't know me, but I do. The thought whispered through my mind. I know your grief, your guilt, your loneliness. Consider it payment for the emotional distress you caused, I said instead. We're even now. You leave, I go back to my normal, boring life, and we pretend this never happened. You just made yourself a witness in a federal case. Yeah, I'm aware it wasn't my best moment. They'll come after you now. Then I'll deal with it. You don't understand what you've done. I saved you from being arrested. You're really bad at gratitude. Has anyone ever told you that? His phone buzzed again. He answered without looking away from me. What? A pause. His expression went arctic. How many? Another pause. When? He closed his eyes briefly. I'm on my way. He hung up, looked at Marcus. Does he have a car? What? No, why would... Then he's coming with me. Absolutely not, I said. They know your name now, Caleb, your face. By tonight, they'll know where you live. His voice was urgent in a way that sent ice down my spine. Morrison works for the Volkov Syndicate. They'll come for you to get to me. That sounds made up. Does it? He pulled up something on his phone, showed me a photo. A crime scene, body parts, blood. So much blood. I looked away, stomach churning. Point made. I have a safe house outside the city. You'll stay there until this blows over. You're actually insane if you think I'm going anywhere with you. You're actually dead if you don't. Marcus made another strangled sound. Maybe he should go. Caleb, you're supposed to be on my side. I'm on the side of you staying alive. Marcus's voice cracked. Just go, please. Dominic's hand extended toward me, not demanding, offering. One night, he said. Then I'll bring you back. You have my word. I looked at his hand. Remembered the memories that flooded through me last time. This is a terrible idea. This is the worst idea I've ever had. If you murder me, I said slowly, I'm haunting you forever, loud. Poltergeist activity, slamming doors, moving your stuff, the works. Noted. I took his hand. The memories hit again, but softer this time, more controlled, a promise. I'll keep you safe. A vow. I won't let them hurt you. Let's go, Dominic said. And just like that, my normal life ended. His hand tightened around mine as he pulled me toward the door. Wait. I dug my heels in. My bag, my phone, my entire life is in the back room. Leave it? Easy for you to say. You probably have 17 phones and a Swiss bank account. He stopped, exhaled hard through his nose, then turned to Marcus. Get his things. 30 seconds. Marcus scrambled toward the back room like his life depended on it, probably because it did. I tried to pull my hand free. Dominic's grip didn't budge. You can let go now, I said. I'm not running. You're thinking about it. I'm always thinking about running. It's my default setting. I tugged again. Seriously, the hand holding is weird. I need to... He trailed off, staring at our joined hands like they held the answer to a question he didn't know how to ask. Your scent. It's stronger when I'm touching you. That's called an invasion of personal space. It's called relief. The rawness in his voice stopped my sarcasm cold. I looked up at him, really looked, and saw something I'd missed before. The exhaustion. The tension coiled so tight in his shoulders it had to hurt. The way his free hand kept flexing like he was fighting the urge to reach for me with that one too. How long have you been alone? The question slipped out before I could stop it. His eyes snapped to mine. What? When I touched you, I saw... I hesitated. Careful, Caleb. Don't reveal too much. You look tired. Really tired. Something shifted in his expression. Surprise, maybe. Or recognition. Always, he said quietly. For as long as I can remember. Marcus returned, shoving my backpack at me. Here, now go, please. I shouldered the bag with my free hand since Dominic apparently had separation anxiety about the other one. If I die, I told Marcus, delete my browser history. You're not going to die, Dominic said, says the man dragging me into witness protection. He pulled me outside. A black car sat at the curb, engine running, windows tinted so dark they looked like portals to another dimension. The driver's door opened and a woman stepped out, tall, sharp-eyed, with her dark hair pulled back in a bun that probably qualified as a weapon. Boss. She nodded at Dominic, then looked at me. Her eyebrows rose. This the reason Morrison's throwing a tantrum? This is Caleb, Dominic said. He's under my protection. Protection. She said it like it was a foreign concept. Since when do we do protection? Since now. Drive. She opened the back door. Dominic gestured for me to get in first. I climbed into leather seats that probably cost more than my entire apartment and slid across to the far side. Dominic followed, finally releasing my hand to shut the door behind him. The car pulled away from the curb smoothly, like we were in a movie and someone had yelled action. "So," I said into the silence, "is this the part where you tell me your tragic backstory, or do I have to guess?" "This is the part where you stay quiet. Not really my strength." The woman in front snorted. "I like 'em." "Elena," Dominic said warningly. "What? He's funny. Better than the usual people you threaten." "I didn't threaten him. You said he's under your protection. Same thing in our world." I looked between them. "So protection is just a nice word for kidnapping?" "It's a nice word for keeping you alive," Dominic said. His phone buzzed again. He glanced at it and his jaw went tight. "The Volkovs are already asking questions." "About me?" My stomach dropped. "How? It's been like 10 minutes. "Morrison's on their payroll. He called it in the second he left." Dominic's finger hovered over the screen. "They're offering a bounty." "A bounty? On me?" "The broke barista." I laughed, but it sounded slightly hysterical. "This day just keeps getting better." "How much?" Elena asked. "And 50,000. I choked. $50,000 for me? That's insane. I'm worth like $12 and a half-eaten sandwich. "You're worth more than that to me," Dominic said. The words hung in the air between us. Elena's eyes flicked to the rearview mirror, curious. "Because I lied to the feds for you," I clarified. "That's why I'm valuable. As a witness." "No." His gaze pinned me. "Because you're my mate." Elena swerved slightly. "You're what?" "He doesn't know what he's saying," I said quickly. "Possible RUT, temporary insanity, Mercury in retrograde." "I know exactly what I'm saying." Dominic shifted closer. Not touching, but close enough that his scent wrapped around me like smoke. "The moment you touched me, everything changed." You've mentioned repeatedly. Still doesn't make it true." "Why are you fighting this?" "Because I don't know you." The words burst out sharper than intended. "You're a stranger. A dangerous stranger who kills people and runs a criminal empire and apparently collects federal charges like Pokemon cards. I've never killed anyone who didn't deserve it." "Oh, well, that makes it totally fine then." "Caleb." His hand reached for mine again. I jerked back, pressing against the door. "Don't." He froze. "Why?" "Because if you touch me again, I'll see more. I'll drown in your memories and you'll figure out what I can do. And then I'll be even more trapped than I already am." "Because I need space," I said instead. "Because this is insane. Because 24 hours ago my biggest problem was student loans and now I have a bounty on my head. I'll protect you. You don't even know me. Then tell me." His voice softened, gentled. "Tell me why you lied for me. Why you looked at me like you understood something no one else does." My mouth went dry. "I don't know what you're talking about." "Yes, you do." He leaned forward. "When we touched, you saw something. I know you did." "Boss," Helena interrupted. "We've got a tail. Black SUV. 2 cars back." Dominic's attention snapped to the window. His whole demeanor shifted, that dangerous edge sliding back into place. "Volkovs?" "Probably." "Lose them." Helena grinned. "With pleasure." The car accelerated. My stomach lurched as we swerved to the next lane, cutting off a taxi that blared its horn. "Oh God," I muttered. "I'm going to die in a car chase. This is how it ends." Dominic's hand found mine in the chaos. This time I didn't pull away. Not because I wanted the comfort, but because when our skin touched, I saw something new in the flood of his memories. A photograph hidden in a desk drawer. A young woman with dark curls and amber eyes. Eyes exactly like mine. And written on the back in handwriting I recognized, find him, keep him safe. Maria. My mother's name. My mother's handwriting. "Caleb?" Dominic's voice sounded distant. "What's wrong?" "Everything," I wanted to say. "Everything is wrong because you knew my mother and I didn't know that, and now nothing makes sense." "Nothing," I whispered. But my hands were shaking, and from the way Dominic was watching me, he knew I was lying. The car swerved hard left. My shoulder slammed into Dominic's chest. "Hold on!" Elena called from the front, grinning like this was the best part of her day. To what? I gasped, but Dominic's arm was already around me, pinning me against him as the car whipped through the traffic. Another sharp turn. Horns blared. Someone screamed. Through the rear window, I could see the black SUV gaining, weaving through cars with the same reckless precision. They're persistent, Elena said cheerfully. Can you sound less excited about people trying to kill us? I managed. Where's the fun in that? Dominic's grip tightened. His other hand was braced against the door, keeping us both steady as Elena took a turn that definitely violated several traffic laws. You knew my mother. The words ripped out of me before I could stop them. Didn't you? His body went rigid against mine. Caleb, not now. When then? After they shoot us during my funeral? I twisted a look at him. You have a picture of her. She wrote you a note. Find him, keep him safe. That's me, isn't it? I'm the him. His jaw clenched. How did you... Answer the question. Elena's eyes flicked to the rearview mirror, suddenly very interested. Maria Rivera, Dominic said quietly. She worked for my father 15 years ago. My breath caught. Worked for him? How? Accountant. She tracked his money, kept his books clean. His voice was careful. Too careful. She was good at it. Was. I latched onto the past tense like a lifeline. What happened to her? The SUV behind us accelerated. Elena cursed and yanked the wheel. We went airborne for a second over a speed bump, then crashed back down hard enough to rattle my teeth. She disappeared, Dominic said. When I was 13, left a note for my father saying she couldn't do it anymore. Asked him to find her son if anything happened to her. And did he find me? No. Something raw flickered across his face. He didn't care enough to look. But you did. Silence. Boss, Elena warned. They're coming up on the right. Dominic pulled me closer as the SUV pulled alongside us. I could see faces through the tinted window. Hard faces. Angry faces. Then I saw the gun. Down! Dominic shoved my head against his chest. Glass exploded. Bullets punched through metal. Elena screamed something in what might have been Russian and floored it. The world became noise and speed, and Dominic's heartbeat thundering against my ear. I looked for you, he said into my hair. So quiet I almost missed it under the chaos. After she died, after I found her note, I looked everywhere. My fingers curled into his jacket. She's dead? 6 months ago. Cancer. His hand cupped the back of my head, protective. I'm sorry. I'd known, somewhere deep down, I'd known she wasn't coming back. She left when I was 3, vanished like smoke. But knowing and hearing it confirmed it were different animals entirely. How did you find me? My voice cracked. I didn't. You found me. He pulled back enough to meet my eyes. I go to that cafe every Tuesday. Same table, same order. I've been going for 3 years. 3 years? She said you worked in Newark. Said you had her eyes and her stubbornness. His thumb brushed my cheekbone. I've been waiting for you to walk through that door. That's insane. That's devotion. Another bullet hit the car. Elena swerved onto a side street, narrowly missing a pedestrian. This is a terrible time for confessions, I yelled. There's never a good time, Dominic shot back. And you asked. I didn't expect you to actually answer. You never expect me to do anything you want. It's becoming a pattern. Despite everything, despite the bullets and the fear and the revelation that my dead mother had somehow connected us years ago, I almost laughed. You're ridiculous. You're infuriating. We're both going to die. Not today. He said it with such certainty that I almost believed him. Elena took another sharp turn. The SUV overshot, tires squealing. She grinned savagely and accelerated down an alley barely wide enough for the car. Lost them, she crowed. For now, Dominic muttered. The alley opened onto a quieter street. Elena slowed to normal speed, blending into traffic like we hadn't just been in a literal shootout. My hands were shaking. I pressed them against my thighs, trying to make it stop. Dominic noticed. Of course he noticed. Hey. His voice gentled. Look at me. I shook my head. I can't. If I look at you, You'll what? I'll fall apart. The confession scraped out of me. And I can't afford to fall apart right now. Then fall apart later, after I get you somewhere safe. There is no safe. Not anymore. I finally looked up at him. They know my face, my name, where I work. My mother is dead, and apparently you've been looking for me for 3 years, and I have psychometry, which means I can see people's memories when I touch them, and now you know, and everything is terrible. The words tumbled out in a rush, too fast, too honest. Dominic went very still. Psychometry, he repeated. Yeah, surprise. The universe gave me the worst party trick ever. That's why you pulled away. Why you looked at me like... He exhaled slowly. You saw my memories. All of them. The blood. The grief. Your mom dying. The loneliness. I swallowed hard. Everything. And you still lied for me. Apparently I make terrible decisions under pressure. His hand found my face, tilting it up. His touch was warm. Careful. Like I was something fragile he was afraid to break. You're extraordinary, he said softly. I'm a disaster. You're both. His thumb traced my cheekbone. And you're mine. We've established I'm not property. Not property. Mine. His gaze held mine. There's a difference. Is there? Yes. He leaned closer. So close I could count his eyelashes. Property is something you own. You're something I choose. My breath hitched. You don't know me. I know you're brave enough to lie to federal agents, reckless enough to get in a car with a stranger, kind enough to see my pain and not run from it. His voice dropped. I know you smell like cinnamon and rain and everything I've ever wanted but was too afraid to ask for. Dominic, let me keep you safe. It wasn't a command. It was a plea. Please. There was that word again. The one he didn't say. The one that cost him something. I should have said no. Should have demanded he let me go. Should have chosen literally any option except the one that meant staying close to this dangerous, complicated, impossible man. Okay, I whispered. His forehead dropped against mine. Thank you. And for just a moment, in the back seat of a bullet-riddled car with a bounty on my head and my entire life in shambles, I felt safe. Then Elena's phone rang. She answered on speaker. Yeah? Package secured. A male voice, rough and unfamiliar. Safe house is clean. No signs of breach. Copy that. ETA 5 minutes. She hung up and glanced at Dominic in the rear view. Marcus is asking questions. Says the feds came back to the cafe. My stomach dropped. Is he okay? He's fine. Scared, but fine. Elena's eyes met mine in the mirror. Told them you left with a customer. Didn't give a name. Good. Dominic's hand was still against my face. He hadn't moved. He'll be compensated for the trouble. You're going to pay off my manager? I'm going to make sure he stays quiet and alive. There's a difference. The car turned onto a graveled driveway. Trees lined both sides, thick enough to block out most of the afternoon light. We drove for what felt like forever before a house appeared through the branches. Not a house. A compound, stone walls, security cameras, enough square footage to qualify as a small hotel. This is your safe house? I pulled back from Dominic, staring. This looks like a Bond villain's retirement plan. It's secure. It's terrifying. Elena parked in front of a massive double doors. A man in a dark suit opened them before we'd even gotten out. Young, built like he bench-pressed cars for fun, with a scar running from his temple to his jaw. Boss. He nodded at Dominic, then looked at me with open curiosity. This him? Caleb, Dominic corrected. And yes. Damn. The guy grinned. You're prettier than the bounty photo. There's already a bounty photo. My voice climbed an octave. Posted 20 minutes ago. You're trending on the dark web. I hate everything about that sentence. Dominic's hand found the small of my back, guiding me toward the entrance. Inside! Now! The interior was somehow worse. Marble floors, vaulted ceilings, art that probably cost more than my student loans. Everything screamed money and a power and things I would never understand. Second floor, east wing, Dominic told the scared guy. No one goes in without my permission. Got it. We climbed a staircase that belonged in a museum. My shoes squeaked against the marble. The sound echoed. You live like this? I asked. Sometimes. And other times I live in places that make this look modest. I can't tell if you're joking. I'm not. He led me down a hallway lined with doors, stopped at the last one, pulled out a key. This is your room, private bathroom, lock on the inside, no one will bother you. Except you. His mouth curved, almost a smile. Except me. He unlocked the door, pushed it open. The room beyond was huge. King bed. Floor-to-ceiling windows overlooking the forest. Furniture that probably had its own insurance policy. I'll have Elena bring you clothes, Dominic said. Anything you need, just ask. What I need is answers. I turned to face him. Real ones, not the edited version. His expression shuddered. What do you want to know? Everything. Starting with how exactly my mother died. I told you, cancer. You told me the official story. I stepped closer. But I can see it in your face. There's more. Caleb, don't. I held up a hand. Don't lie to me. Not after everything. He was quiet for a long moment. Then he walked into the room past me to the windows. His reflection stared back at us both, distorted by the late afternoon light. She was sick, he said finally, but she was getting treatment. Good treatment. The kind that works. My chest tightened. What happened? My father found out where she was. The words landed like a punch. What? She had been hiding for 15 years. Using fake names. Staying off the grid. His hands curled into fists at his sides. But she got sick and had to use her real identity for the insurance. He found her within a week. And? I could barely breathe. What did he do? Dominic's reflection looked haunted. Nothing. That was the problem. He could have helped her. Could have paid for better treatment. Could have... He stopped, swallowed. He let her die. Said she betrayed him by leaving and deserved whatever she got. Horror crawled up my throat. You watched him do that? You just let it happen? I tried. His voice cracked. I sent money anonymously, paid for her treatment myself, but by the time I found out, it was too late. The cancer had spread. I wanted to believe him. God, I wanted to. But something felt wrong. Off. Show me. I said quietly. He turned. What? Your hand. Let me touch your hand. Understanding flickered across his face. Then fear. Caleb, you don't want to... Show me. Slowly he extended his hand. I took it. The memories crashed over me like a tidal wave. A hospital room, machines beeping. Maria, my mother, so thin I barely recognized her. Dominic sitting beside her bed, holding her hand. You found him? Her voice weak. Not yet. But I will. Promise me. Her grip tightened. Promise me you'll keep him safe from your father. I promise. She smiled. You're a good boy, Dominic. Better than he deserves. So far, everything matched what he'd told me. Then the memory shifted. Dominic in an office. His father, older, colder, sitting behind a desk. She's asking for help. Dominic's voice younger, desperate. We can save her. No. She has a son. He's alone. If she dies, then he dies too. His father's voice casual. One less loose end. Dominic going pale. What? Maria knew too much, saw too much. I let her run because it was easier than killing her. A shrug. But if she's dying anyway, might as well clean up the mess. Find the boy. Eliminate him. No. Dominic stood. I won't. Then I'll send someone who will. The memory shifted again. Dominic alone in a car, making a call. I need a favor, a big one. Name it. Elena's voice. There's an Omega in Newark, Maria Rivera's son. I need him hidden, completely off the grid. Your father? Wants him dead. But I made a promise. So you've been protecting him. A pause. For how long? 3 years. My hand jerked away from his like I'd been burned. 3 years, I repeated, voice shaking. You've known where I was for 3 years. Dominic's face went carefully blank. Yes. You've been watching me, following me, protecting me from your father without ever telling me I was in danger. I was keeping you safe. By lying? My voice rose. By letting me think I was free when I've had a target on my back this entire time? If you'd known, you would have run, and running would have gotten you killed. That wasn't your choice to make. It was the only choice. His control cracked. My father had people looking for you, killers. If I'd approached you, if I'd warned you, they would have known I'd found you first. The only way to keep you safe was to keep you in the dark. So what was today? The cafe? The accidental touch? Anger burned through my chest. Was any of it real, or was this just you finally collecting on a 3-year investment? It was real. He stepped toward me. I stepped back. Everything I felt, everything that happened when we touched, that was real. How am I supposed to believe anything you say? Because I'm telling you the truth now. Because you got caught. I laughed, but it came out broken. If I didn't have psychometry, would you have ever told me? Would I have just been your little protection project forever? He flinched. No, I don't know. You don't know. I backed toward the door. That's great. That's perfect. Caleb, please. You know what the worst part is? My voice cracked. I was starting to trust you. Starting to think maybe this insane connection meant something. But it doesn't. It's just another lie in a lifetime of lies. It's not a lie. You're my mate. I'm your responsibility. There's a difference. I grabbed the door handle. Thanks for the room. I'll try not to get murdered while I'm here. Don't. He moved faster than I expected, palm flat against the door, keeping it closed. Don't shut me out. Why not? You've been shutting me out for 3 years. I was protecting you. You were controlling me. The words tore out of me, just like everyone else in my life. My mother left without explaining why. Your father wanted me dead without me even knowing I was a threat. And you decided what I could know, what I could handle without ever giving me a choice. His hand dropped. The fight went out of him all at once. You're right, he said quietly. I should have told you. Should have given you the choice. I was selfish. Yeah, you were. But I can't regret it. His eyes met mine. Because you're alive. And if telling you the truth 3 years ago meant losing you, then I'd make the same choice again. I wanted to scream, wanted to cry, wanted to hit him and hold him and run until my legs gave out. Instead, I just stood there shaking. Get out, I whispered. Caleb, get out. He left. The door closed behind him with a soft click that sounded like the end of something. I sank to the floor back against the wood and finally let myself fall apart. I sat there for exactly 30 seconds before the anger turned inward. You idiot. You absolute moron. You let yourself feel safe with him. My hands were still shaking. I pressed them against my face, trying to ground myself, trying to think past the hurt. 3 years. He had been watching me for 3 years, following me, protecting me from a threat I didn't even know existed. And the worst part? The absolutely infuriating part? I understood why. Stop it, I muttered to myself. Stop justifying what he did. But my brain wouldn't cooperate. It kept replaying the memory I'd pulled from him, the desperation in his younger voice, the fear when his father ordered my death, the way he'd said, I made a promise, like it was the only thing keeping him upright. He still lied, I said to the empty room. To keep you alive, a traitorous voice whispered back. I shoved myself to my feet. Sitting here feeling sorry for myself wasn't going to solve anything. I needed to think. Needed to figure out what the hell I was going to do now. The room was ridiculous. Seriously, who needed a bedroom this size? I walked to the windows, looking out at the forest beyond. The sun was setting, painting everything in shades of orange and gold. Beautiful. Isolated. Trapped. My reflection stared back at me from the glass. I looked like a disaster. Hair messy. Eyes red. Bruise forming on my shoulder from where I'd hit the car door during the chase. Pull it together, Rivera. I told my reflection. You've survived worse than this. Except I hadn't. Not really. My biggest crisis before today had been deciding whether to drop out of college or drown in debt. This? This was a different universe of complicated. A soft knock at the door made me jump. Caleb? Elena's voice. I have clothes and food. Can I come in? I should have said no. Should have told her to leave everything outside. But curiosity won over pride. Yeah. She entered carrying a duffel bag and a tray that smelled like heaven. Set both on the bed without making eye contact. Boss said you might be hungry. Boss can go to hell. Her mouth twitched. He's currently in his office drinking expensive whiskey and looking like someone kicked his puppy. So close enough. Good. Is it? She finally looked at me. Because from where I'm standing, you both look miserable. Yeah, well, that's what happens when someone lies to you for 3 years. He was protecting you. Everyone keeps saying that like it makes it a bouquet. It doesn't. Elena sat on the edge of the bed. But it makes it understandable. I crossed my arms. You knew, didn't you? About all of it. Not everything. I knew he was watching someone, keeping them safe. Didn't know it was you until today. She tilted her head. Didn't know you were his mate either. That was a fun surprise. I'm not his mate. Your scent says otherwise. Whole car reeked of cinnamon and contentment before the shooting started. That was fear. Fear smells like metal. You smell like you found something you didn't know you were missing. She shrugged. I've been around enough mated pairs to know the difference. I wanted to argue, wanted to deny it, but my body had already betrayed me. Even now, with anger still hot in my chest, part of me wanted to go find Dominic, wanted to curl into his scent and let him fix this. It doesn't matter, I said. He lied. He did. Elena stood, brushing invisible dust from her pants. Question is, can you forgive him? I don't know. Then figure it out. Because his father is still alive, still dangerous, and whether you like it or not, you're in this now. She headed for the door, and then paused. For what it's worth. I've known Dominic for 10 years. Never seen him care about anything except business and revenge. And then you walked into that cafe, and he looked at you like you hung the moon. Whatever else he did wrong, that part was real. She left before I could respond. I stared at the closed door for a long moment, then walked to the bed. The duffel had clothes in my size, jeans, t-shirts, even underwear, which was either thoughtful or deeply invasive. The tray held pasta, fresh bread, water. My stomach growled, reminding me I hadn't eaten since breakfast. I picked up the fork, then stopped. What if it was drugged? What if this whole thing was some elaborate setup to keep me compliant? You're being paranoid. You're being smart. I set the fork down and grabbed one of the t-shirts instead, changing out of my coffee-stained work uniform. The shirt was soft, expensive, probably cost more than my rent. Stupid rich people in their stupid comfortable clothes, I muttered. A phone buzzed. Not mine. Mine was in my backpack, which I'd dropped somewhere in the chaos. The buzzing came from the nightstand. I walked over, pulled open the drawer. A phone. Not mine. Black. Expensive looking. It buzzed again. A text from E. Boss needs to see you. His office, 3rd floor. I should have ignored it. Should have climbed into that massive bed and pretended none of this was happening. Instead, I picked up the phone. Touched the screen. The memories hit instantly. Dominic alone in an office, younger, maybe 17. His father across from him. You're weak, his father said. Just like your mother. I'm not weak. Then prove it. Kill the accountant's son. Show me you can make the hard choices. Dominic's hands shaking. He's just a kid. He's a liability. And if you won't handle it, I will. A pause. Along with you. Fear. Pure, raw fear. Then decision. I'll do it. His father smiling. Good boy. The memory shifted. Dominic in a car outside a rundown apartment, gun in his lap. Watching a window on the 3rd floor where a little boy, maybe 7, was visible, playing with toys. Me? That was me. I can't, Dominic whispered to himself. I can't do this. He started the car, drove away, made a call. Elena, I need your help, and I need you not to ask questions. Another shift, years later. Dominic in the same office, now his father's body on the floor, blood pooling. You were going to kill him, Dominic said to the corpse. You were going to kill an innocent kid because he existed. Elena entering, looking at the body. Self-defense? Does it matter? No. She stepped over the blood. What do you need? Help me find him before anyone else does. I dropped the phone like it had burned me. He killed his father. Dominic killed his father to protect me. and I'd just thrown that in his face and told him to leave. Oh, God. My legs felt weak. Oh, God, what did I do? The door burst open. Not Elena, not Dominic, a man I'd never seen before, older, scarred, gun in his hand. There you are, he said in accented English. Russian, maybe. The Omega who's causing so much trouble. My psychometry screamed danger before my brain caught up. Who the hell are you? He smiled. It was not a nice smile. Volkov. Dmitri Volkov. He raised the gun. And you're worth 50,000 dead or alive. I prefer dead. Less paperwork. My mind raced. The window was too far. The door was blocked. I had no weapons, no training, no idea how to fight someone with a gun. But I had my mouth. You know what's funny? I said, surprised my voice was steady. Everyone keeps trying to kill me today, and I still haven't had lunch. It's really inconsiderate timing. He blinked. What? I mean, at least let me eat the pasta first. It smells amazing, and I'm starving. Are you insane? Possibly. It's been a weird day. I took a step sideways. Casual, non-threatening. Also, if you shoot me, Dominic will literally destroy you, like not metaphorically. He will burn your entire organization into the ground. Cross is weak. Always has been. Yeah, see, that's where you're wrong. Another step. He killed his own father to protect me. What do you think he'll do to you? Dimitri's smile faded. He what? Oh, you didn't know? I kept moving slow and steady. Dominic Cross? Current head of the Cross family? He got that position by putting a bullet in Daddy Dearest. All because the old man wanted me dead. You're lying. I have psychometry. I saw the memory, saw the body, saw everything. I was almost at the nightstand now. So here's my counteroffer. You leave right now, tell your boss you never found me, and maybe you live through the night. Or, he said, finger tightening on the trigger, I collect my 50,000 and disappear before Cross even knows I was here. Third option. Dominic's voice, cold and lethal, came from the doorway. I kill you right now. Dimitri spun. Dominic moved faster. The gun went off. Pain exploded in my shoulder. I hit the ground hard, ears ringing, vision swimming. Through the chaos I heard Dominic roar, heard fighting, heard something break, then hands on my face. Gentle hands. Caleb, look at me. I forced my eyes open. Dominic's face swam into focus. He looked terrified. Hey, I whispered. Your security sucks. He laughed. It sounded like a sob. You're insane. Yeah, you mentioned. Stay with me. His hands pressed against my shoulder. Blood seeped between his fingers. Please, stay with me. I'm not going anywhere. My vision was fading. Still mad at you, though. I know. His voice cracked. I know. Just stay awake. Dominic? Yeah? I forgive you. Everything went black. I woke up to the smell of antiseptic and Dominic. Not necessarily in that order. My shoulder throbbed. My head felt like someone had used it as a drum, but I was alive, which seemed like a win given the circumstances. Don't move! Dominic's voice, rough, exhausted. I cracked one eye open. He sat beside the bed, still in his blood-stained shirt. Dark circles carved under his eyes like he hadn't slept in days. How long? My voice came out scratchy. 6 hours. The bullet went through. Missed everything important. His hand found mine. Careful. Like I might break. You're okay. Define okay. Alive, healing, still talking back to me? Then I'm perfect. I tried to sit up. Pain lanced through my shoulder. Ow. Okay. Not perfect. His hand pressed gently against my chest, keeping me down. The doctor said you need to rest. You have a doctor on staff? Of course you do. I looked around. Same bedroom. Different. Lighting. Night now, judging by the darkness outside the windows. What happened to Dmitri? Dead. The single word carried no emotion, no regret. Good, I said and meant it. His eyes widened slightly. Good? He shot me. I'm petty. Also, he had terrible timing. I squeezed his hand. Did Elena yell at you for the security breach? Extensively. She's upgrading everything. He paused. She also said I should grovel. Should you? Yes. He lifted my hand to his lips, kissed my knuckles. I'm sorry, Caleb, for lying, for controlling your life, for not giving you the choice. I know. I should have told you 3 years ago. Should have trusted you to handle it. Probably. I tugged his hand until he leaned closer. But then I might have run, and we wouldn't be here. You would have been safer. I would have been alone. The truth settled between us. I've been alone my whole life, Dominic. My mom left. I had no one. And yeah, finding out you were watching me is creepy and invasive and all kinds of messed up. But you were also the only person who cared if I lived or died. His jaw tightened. That's not... It's true and it's sad. But it's also why I forgive you. I touched his face. You killed your father for me. You've been protecting me for 3 years. You asked please when you could have commanded. You're trying even when you don't know how. I don't deserve you. Probably not. But you're stuck with me anyway. I smiled. That's how mates work, right? Something in his expression cracked. Relief, hope, fear. Say it again, he whispered. What? That you forgive me. I forgive you. I pulled him closer. I forgive you for lying, for protecting me without asking, for making impossible choices that kept me alive. My thumb traced his cheekbone. And I choose you, even knowing everything, even knowing it's complicated and dangerous and probably insane. Caleb. My name sounded like a prayer. Also, your dramatic timing is terrible. I almost died before I could yell at you properly. He laughed. Actually laughed. The sound was broken and beautiful. There he is, I said softly, the man under all the control. You terrify me. His forehead pressed against mine. The thought of losing you. You won't. I'm annoyingly hard to kill, apparently. Don't joke about that. Too soon? Way too soon. His scent wrapped around me. Whiskey and gunpowder and something new. Something that smelled like home. Dominic? Yeah? Kiss me. He went very still. You're injured. I'm healing, and I've been shot at, chased, and emotionally devastated today. I deserve a kiss. You deserve everything. But he closed the distance anyway. The kiss was gentle. Careful. Like he was afraid I'd shatter. His lips moved against mine with a tenderness that made my chest ache. I kissed him back harder, demanding alive. He made a sound low in his throat and deepened the kiss. His hand cupped my face, thumb stroking my cheek. The world narrowed to this. Him. Us. The taste of him on my tongue. When we finally broke apart, we were both breathing hard. That was... I trailed off. Yeah. We should probably talk about the whole mate bond thing. Later. His nose traced my jaw, scenting me, claiming me. Right now, I just need to know you're real. Pretty real. The shoulder wound proves it. Caleb? Fine, yes, I'm real, I'm here, and I'm not going anywhere. I tilted my head, giving him access to my throat. Submission, trust. I'm yours, if you want me. His teeth grazed my pulse point. Not biting, not marking, just feeling. I want you. He breathed against my skin. I've wanted you since the moment you touched my hand and looked at me like you saw something worth saving. I did see that, I still do. He pulled back enough to meet my eyes. The Volkovs won't stop. Then we stop them. My world is dangerous. Good thing I'm not afraid of danger. You should be. Maybe. I smiled. But I'm more afraid of living without you. His breath caught. When you're healed, he said carefully, when you're safe, I want to mark you properly, make the bond permanent. My heart did something complicated. Ask me again when I'm not on pain medication. Is that a yes? It's a convince me when I'm not bleeding. He smiled, really smiled, the kind that transformed his entire face. Challenge accepted. A knock at the door. Elena poked her head in. Boss, the Volkov situation is handled. Dmitri was working alone, trying to collect the bounty. His death sent a message. They're backing off. Good. Dominic didn't look away from me. And my father's associates? Neutralized or sworn to you. The transition is complete. She grinned. Congratulations. You're officially the most powerful Enigma on the East Coast. And the bounty? I asked. Retracted. You're officially under cross protection. Anyone who touches you answers to the entire organization. Helena winked. Welcome to the family, Caleb. She left. I looked at Dominic. So, I'm protected by the Mafia now. That's not something I thought I'd say today. You're protected by me, he corrected. The Mafia is just a bonus. Some bonus. You can still leave. His voice went quiet. After you heal, I'll set you up somewhere safe. New identity, new life. You don't have to stay. Do you want me to leave? No. The word was immediate. Desperate. God, no. Then I'm staying. I laced my fingers through his. Someone has to keep you from becoming a complete villain. Might as well be me. You're insane. You've mentioned that several times. I'll spend the rest of my life making this up to you. Good. I accept payment in pasta, comfortable clothes, and dramatic declarations of love. His thumb traced circles on my palm. I love you. I froze. What? I love you. I've loved you since I first saw you 3 years ago, standing outside that rundown apartment, trying to fix a broken bike lock. His eyes held mine. I loved you when you were just a promise to a dying woman. I loved you when you were the sassy barista who called me Your Majesty. And I love you now, bleeding and broken and still making jokes. Tears stung my eyes. That's really unfair. What is? Saying perfect things when I can't properly kiss you back because moving hurts. He leaned down, kissed me softly. Then I'll just have to wait. I love you too, I whispered against his lips. Even though you're dramatic and overprotective and have terrible security, I'm upgrading the security. You better. I smiled, because you're stuck with me now. Promise? Promise. And for the first time in 3 years, in my entire life really, I felt like I'd finally found home.